And every year he used to go buy one vessel from the potter's market and to transport water from his well to the fountain, which was very beautiful in his kingdom. So one day, at that year, because every year he used to get water from the fountain, water from the well. So that year he went to usually to the potter's market and went and saw many beautiful pots, and every single pot that he looked which he was gazing upon was really beautiful, and also none of them had a single crack in it, and also it was beautifully made. But at the last he saw a pot which was cracked, and also one of its sides was swooping down, and it was quite tilted. And by the when the people with the king, who were the soldiers and the ministers, saw the pot, they were like instantly they thought, okay, we can't buy this pot because it is very ugly, and also it can't hold the water which we are pouring onto it. But the king ignored their words, and also just without acknowledging what they were saying, he just bought the pot. And the king was, and the ministers who were with the king, they said that does the king not see its flaws, or what doesn't the king see the problems that the pot has? So the vessel, so finally, it was time to get the water from the well, and the king and the people who were the workers, they took water from the well. They used the broken pot as well, and as they were going along the way, along the route to the fountain, water kept dripping and dripping. By the time they reached, the water was fully empty, like the pot was fully empty, because the way they were coming through, the water just like dripped, and it got empty. But because of this water dripping, there were hidden seeds which were probably during the harvest or during the sowing time of the farmers. The farmers usually sow seeds to the ground, and they accidentally threw some of them off the soil. So these seeds which were hidden in the dirt, they sprouted because of this water dripping drop by drop every single day. This meant that the plants were growing, and these small herbs became into beautiful flowers. So after many months, the king came with his ministers to the courtyard to just gaze upon and just look at the beautiful courtyard he has. So when he saw the people, the workers were bringing the straight vessels, the very good, beautiful vessels. It had water in it. They were transporting it, no problem at all. But lastly, when he saw the empty vessel being used, like the broken vessel being used, and usually what happens to it? It keeps on dripping, and by the time it reaches the fountain, it becomes empty. And then the king raised his arm and said that what you looked at what was lost behind the vessel. So the king said that you were only looking at while the broken vessel was being transported with water. You were only looking at what was lost, but I was looking what it left behind because of its weakness. So the king meant was what the king meant was the courtiers, the ministers were looking at what was left, what was lost. The water obviously was lost because of the crack, but the king saw because of the weakness of the which the pot has. The king saw what was left behind. So that means the plants, the beautiful flowers which were there. And then once only the king saw all the flowers on the root. So all the other people looked upon the root which they used for transporting, and they saw a big ribbon of green, beautiful flowers of different variety of colors. Then the king spoke again. Then it said that now the king goes very into a biblical tone, saying that the eyes of the heavens see that recognizes that every single man is cracked in either way, some sort of in different aspects, probably financially. If you're talking about a person who has less money, we can see the eyes of heaven. That means God sees them as cracked, and also if they're mentally they are cracked because they don't have a good sense of mind. The eyes of heaven sees them as cracked. But the main purpose of why the God has been watching them all through their lives is because what, like, it doesn't matter where they have cracked or whether they have cracked. It matters the most of what leaks from the crack. So as we saw from the pot, the water leaked from it and it helped to grow the flowers and also the plants. Like that, when a person who is cracked at some sort of aspect of life, probably by mentally if you take, or what leaks from his crack, or the what is broken, what it leaks from that brokenness is what matters the most in the eyes of God. So basically, concluding, what I want to say is, we people always keep on judging on what the person looks externally, and what if he's in a depressed mood, we think that probably he cannot help himself, but already he cannot help himself, what he will do to others. But God really knows what really knows the plan he has kept for that person, because by eventually using that depression to help other people. Amen. God.